20 feet beneath the Mediterranean Sea, in the murky waters off Alexandria, Egypt, something extraordinary lies waiting. Ancient eyes stare up through 2,000 years of darkness. Colossal statues of pharaohs and sphinxes rest on the seafloor like sleeping giants. This isn't just another archaeological site. This is Canopus, a legendary Egyptian city that vanished beneath the waves. Some call it Egypt's Atlantis. But unlike Plato's mythical island, Canopus was real. And in August 2025, we finally found it. What you're about to witness will change everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt. Because this discovery reveals a catastrophe so massive, it erased an entire civilization from the map. Until now, to understand what we've lost beneath these waves, we need to travel back 2,400 years to when Canopus was a crown jewel of the Mediterranean. Picture this. The year is 300 BCE. You're standing on the marble steps of the great temple of Serapis in Canopus. Behind you rises a city that makes even Alexandria jealous. Massive limestone buildings stretch toward the horizon. The harbor bustles with ships from across the known world, Rome, Greece, Phoenicia, even distant India. But Canopus wasn't just wealthy. It was sacred. This was where Egyptians believed Osiris himself, god of the underworld, first set foot on earth. Every year, thousands of pilgrims would flood the city for the festival of Osiris, transforming Canopus into the Las Vegas of the ancient world. The engineering here was revolutionary. Canopus boasted a 400-foot stone dock that could accommodate the largest vessels of its time. Massive harbor cranes, predecessors to modern technology, lifted cargo from ships with precision that wouldn't be matched for another 1,000 years. But here's what made Canopus truly special. It sat at the crossroads of two worlds. To the south, the mystical power of pharaonic Egypt. To the north, the intellectual might of Hellenistic Greece. When Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, Canopus became the ultimate fusion city. The wealthy built villas that would make Roman emperors weep with envy. Priests conducted secret rituals in underground chambers. Scholars gathered in libraries that rivaled Alexandria itself. This was a city where Egyptian gods walked alongside Greek philosophers, where ancient wisdom merged with cutting-edge innovation. And watching over it all were the monuments. Colossal statues of Ramses II, the pharaoh who ruled Egypt at its peak. Sphinxes carved from single blocks of granite, their eyes gazing eternally toward the life-giving Nile. These weren't just decorations. They were statements of power that could be seen for miles. For 6 centuries, Canopus thrived. It survived the conquest of Alexander, the rule of the Ptolemies, even the arrival of the Romans. This city seemed unstoppable, eternal, but the gods of Egypt were watching, and they were not pleased. The year is 741 CE. For the people of Canopus, it starts like any other day. Merchants haggle in the markets. Fishermen cast their nets in the harbor. Children play in the shadows of ancient sphinxes. But beneath their feet, something sinister is stirring. The earth itself is shifting, and the signs, if you knew how to read them, were everywhere. Ancient Egyptian texts speak of the wrath of Ptah, the god who could shake the very foundations of the world. Modern science calls it something else, a massive seismic event along the Mediterranean fault line. But here's what makes this story truly chilling. Canopus wasn't alone. Just 15 miles to the east lay Heracleion, Egypt's greatest port city, home to over 50,000 people. To the west, the island of Antirhodos, where Cleopatra herself once walked. These cities formed a triangle of power that controlled all trade flowing into Egypt. Together, they were unsinkable. Separately, they were doomed. The first tremor hits at dawn, a minor quake that rattles pottery and startles horses. The priests of Serapis offer extra sacrifices. The people go about their day. The second tremor comes at midday, stronger this time. Cracks appear in the great temple walls. A few of the more cautious citizens begin loading boats. But most stay. After all, Canopus has survived for 8 centuries. Surely the gods won't abandon them now. Then comes the moment that changes everything. 3:47 p.m., according to Byzantine records. The earth doesn't just shake, it screams. A magnitude 8.5 earthquake. one of the most powerful in recorded Mediterranean history. The ground liquefies beneath the weight of Canopus's monuments. Those colossal statues of Ramses, each weighing over 50 tons, topple like dominoes. But the earthquake is just the beginning. When that much earth moves that violently beneath the sea floor, it displaces an incredible amount of water, and that water has to go somewhere. The tsunami arrives 18 minutes later, a wall of water 60 feet high, moving at 400 miles per hour. There's no warning, no time to pray, no time to run. In less than 20 minutes, Canopus disappears. Not destroyed, swallowed. The city that took 8 centuries to build vanishes beneath the Mediterranean like it never existed. But here's the part that will give you chills. The same tsunami that destroyed Canopus also claimed Heracleion and Antirhodos. In a single afternoon, 3 of Egypt's most important cities simply vanished. The survivors who made it to higher ground could only watch as their entire world sank beneath the waves. Within hours, the Mediterranean had claimed not just buildings and treasures, but thousands of years of history, culture, and human life. And then silence. For over 1,000 years, Canopus existed only in ancient texts and fading memories. Historians began to wonder if it had ever existed at all. Dr. Frank Gaudio has spent his entire career hunting for lost civilizations beneath the sea. For 25 years, he's explored the waters off Alexandria, following ancient texts and underwater anomalies that suggest something massive lies hidden in Abu Qir Bay. But finding a sunken city isn't like finding a shipwreck. When Canopus sank, it didn't just drop to the bottom. It was buried under centuries of Mediterranean silt. Imagine trying to locate a specific building in Manhattan after it's been covered by 60 feet of mud for 1,000 years. The breakthrough comes in August 2025, when ground-penetrating sonar reveals something extraordinary beneath the silt. Geometric shapes far too regular to be natural. Rectangular foundations, circular columns, and something else, something massive. The first dive reveals what they're dealing with. At 23 feet beneath the surface, Gaudio's team finds the edge of what appears to be a massive stone dock. As they clear away the silt and marine growth, the true scope of their discovery becomes clear. This isn't just any dock. It's the legendary 400-foot harbor of Canopus, mentioned in ancient texts but never seen by modern eyes. Stone anchors still rest where ships were moored 1,300 years ago. The remains of a massive harbor crane sit exactly where Roman engineers left it. But the real treasures are yet to come. As the team expands their search, they encounter the guardians of Canopus, massive statues lying on the seafloor like sleeping giants. The first one takes their breath away, a colossal sphinx, perfectly preserved beneath the silt, bearing the cartouches of Ramses II himself. This single statue weighs over 30 tons. Moving it will require cranes, careful planning, and a prayer to whatever gods still watch over Canopus. August 21st, 2025, the day Canopus returns to the light. News crews from around the world gather as massive cranes carefully lift the Sphinx from waters that have hidden it for 13 centuries. The moment that ancient face breaks the surface, dripping with Mediterranean water, something magical happens. For the first time in over a millennium, the guardian of Canopus sees the sun. But the Sphinx is just the beginning. As the excavation continues, Canopus reveals its secrets one by one. Limestone buildings emerge in the silt, their walls still bearing traces of the vibrant paint that once decorated them. A residential district where wealthy merchants once lived. A temple complex where pilgrims came to worship Osiris. Each artifact tells a story. Bronze coins still bear the faces of long-dead pharaohs. Ceramic vessels contain traces of exotic spices that traveled thousands of miles to reach Canopus markets. Gold jewelry suggests the city's wealth was even greater than ancient texts claimed. The preservation is remarkable. The Mediterranean's low-oxygen environment has turned the seafloor into a time capsule. Organic materials that would have disintegrated on land remain intact after 13 centuries underwater. Dr. Gaudio calls it the most significant underwater archaeological discovery in Mediterranean history. But for the people of Egypt, it's something more personal. It's the return of a lost piece of their heritage. As artifacts are carefully cleaned and cataloged, each one adds another piece of the puzzle of how Canopus lived and how it died. But perhaps the most incredible discovery is still to come. The mysteries remain. Here's what keeps archaeologists awake at night. The more they uncover Canopus, the more questions arise. Because this city is revealing secrets that challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt. The engineering, for one thing, is impossibly advanced. The harbor crane system uses principles of mechanical advantage that weren't supposed to exist in the ancient world. The foundation stones are cut with precision that rivals modern laser technology. And then there are the inscriptions, hieroglyphs that don't match any known Egyptian dialect, star charts that show constellations with impossible accuracy for their time period, maps that seem to depict lands that wouldn't be discovered for another 1,000 years. But the biggest mystery of all lies in the deepest parts of the excavation site. Ground-penetrating radar suggests there are chambers beneath the main city, sealed spaces that have remained untouched since before the disaster. What's down there? Ancient texts speak of the sacred Vault of Thoth, a legendary repository where Egyptian priests store their most precious secrets, mathematical formulas, astronomical calculations, perhaps even the true history of how the pyramids were built. The Egyptian government has declared these chambers off-limits until proper preservation protocols can be established. But the temptation is overwhelming. What knowledge has been waiting in the darkness beneath Canopus for over a millennium? And there's another mystery that haunts the site. The disaster that destroyed Canopus was incredibly selective. The tsunami that flattened buildings somehow left delicate statues standing. The earthquake that cracked temple walls left fragile pottery intact. Some archaeologists whisper about patterns that suggest the disaster was entirely natural. Ancient texts speak of priests who could command the very earth and sea. Could human knowledge, or human folly, have played a role in Canopus's destruction? Dr. Gaudio's team estimates they've uncovered less than 10% of the city. The rest of Canopus lies waiting beneath Mediterranean silt, an underwater time capsule holding secrets we can't even imagine. As we stand on the shore of Abu Qurba today, looking out over waters that hide one of history's greatest cities, we're forced to ask uncomfortable questions. If a civilization this advanced could vanish so completely, what else have we lost? What other secrets rest beneath the waves?